Another day, another palette. You know, during the year, I can struggle to make 2 of these little videos a week because we don't have a lot of stuff coming out. If you would have asked me in August, I would have said I can make 2 of these a week because we don't have a lot of stuff coming out. And then lo and behold, the last 2 weeks have been completely nuts. But today, we have a good one. A new palette, a 6th palette this year, which is kind of crazy to think about, from Victoria Beckham Beauty. It's the new Victoria Beckham Beauty Cocoa palette. It's one of her quads, and there have been 6 this year, which is crazy. 4 started the year, then we had the Bordeaux one, and we're ending the year with the new Cocoa quad. Now this is a quad designed to match and pair with the Cocoa liner. There was also a mascara that came out. I didn't get that because I have so many brown mascaras. But these 2 are meant to go together and I think will look really beautiful. So what we're going to do today is 2 looks with it. I'm going to show you some additional Victoria Beckham liners that I think would look really beautiful with this. We'll stick on a lip and then we'll be good to go. If it's anything like the other Victoria Beckham palettes, I think it's going to be a beautiful one. I think it's going to be highly pigmented, and you need to be a little careful because there's so much pigment so fast. But I love these palettes. So if this sounds good to you, then like, subscribe, follow along. Please consider shopping my links, Unsolicited Advice, on Instagram and YouTube. Let's go. Okay, so in this palette, there are 4 shadows. It appears that we have 2 mattes, a satin, and kind of a high shine metallic. So let's take a look at these. The first one, and it's the one that you get the most of because I think it's the color that you'll use the most, is kind of this warm kind of cream color. It does have a little bit of a satin finish to it. You can see it's almost the color of my skin tone. So that's actually going to be a beautiful color to blend with. And unlike some of the other quads, it's not much deeper than my skin tone. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. As I grab my little towel. Okay, the next one is a terracotta kind of shade, and this one appears to be a regular matte, but a beautiful one, very smooth. These palettes are made in Italy, and they are a gorgeous formula. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the last matte, which is a deep espresso brown, and I'll put that right here. And you can see the color payoff, but also how uniform the pigment is all the way down. And then the final shade in here is this kind of high shine metallic. And it is a beautiful, creamy kind of brown cocoa color. And you can see there, this is a nice warm fall kind of palette. I recently shot a video, may go up before this one, I'm not even sure, of 20 great fall palettes, and this definitely would have made the list had it come out before I shot that video. Now what I've done today on my face, in case you wanted to know, is I have the Victoria Beckham foundation drops in the shade 4. I have the Victoria Beckham and Augustinus Bader liner, and I have mine in the shade FL2. And then I went ahead and threw on MiniSkirt, my Victoria Beckham bronzer, and Pearl, the highlighter. So we're kind of a face of all Victoria Beckham, at least we are so far. I am going to throw on a different lipstick, but I will use one of her lip liners. So let's try to create 2 looks today using this palette. So I'm going to grab a Rephr brush, like always, and I'm going to go into that first kind of creamy color and put this in my crease. I really like these palettes a lot. They are highly pigmented and very beautiful. Some of the early color stories were so deep and so dark that I could see them being a problem for some people. But for me, I've really enjoyed them. Let's bring you a little closer, Clarice. And you can see this has just a little bit of shine, but it's a beautiful matte. And then across the bulk of the lid, I'm going to take that kind of terracotta color. I do have a bone to pick with you, Miss Victoria Beckham. You say that you'll always be there for me, but I'm not sure you will, because I have all of your Satin Kajal liners, and yet for the second year in a row, you have released a special edition set for the holidays that has a Satin Kajal liner in it, this time in a creamy cocoa color. Last year it was kind of a silver, and you have to buy the set in order to get it, and I don't like that. So I really do hope that you offer those two separately, because I have no desire to buy a set. And the new set comes with a replacement cocoa liner, and I already have one, so I hope that you come out with those as singles. You can see right here, I'm just blending the two together, and they blend beautifully together. Let's go ahead and throw some of that terracotta shade lightly under the lashes. Dramatic, smoky, really beautiful. I'm going to remove any excess product from my brush and just gently diffuse that out just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go in with that kind of deep espresso color very carefully, because it's very pigmented, just on this outer corner, and you can see right off the bat that is an extremely pigmented matte. So you're going to want to be careful with that and grab way less than you think you're going to need. And finally, I'm just going to grab the beautiful metallic kind of deep copper color, and I'm going to place that on my finger and just place it over the bulk of the lid. And no real fallout with these. You can see that's a pretty warm, nice color. Finally, I'm going to go in with a smaller brush and a little bit of that cream color that's kind of a satin, just on the inner corner. And I like the fact that this is included in this set, because sometimes she doesn't include a color you can use for your inner corner. And I'll throw a little of that under the brow as well. Okay, we'll try that with the cocoa liner in a second, but let's go ahead and do a second look. And I wanted to do the second one more sort of daytime, because that first one definitely is nighttime appropriate. So I'm gonna go in again with that beautiful kind of cream satin color. But this time I'm gonna go all over, just go ham with it, all over the lid. And I did not prime my lids today. I normally would, but I kind of wanted to just see how these would look on their own. I'll run that under the lash line just a little bit, and then diffuse it. It's really a pretty color. I thought it was going to lean too yellow, but it really doesn't. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of that terracotta color and warm up this outer edge. Just carry that over a little bit. You could make a pretty halo eye with this too. I like how versatile these quads are. And I'll run a little of that under, but just the outer portion. Like I said, I want this to be more wearable. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is grab one of my Refer 21s, and I'm going to wet it slightly. And what I'm going to do is kind of create a liner with that metallic cocoa. This is a really pretty color. Now, without adding that dark chocolate brown, you can keep this more manageable. That dark chocolate brown definitely takes this into a super smoky place, which of course would be beautiful for night or like a holiday party, something like that. I'm going to carry this most of the way over. And then sharpen that edge just a little bit. I may not even need to clean that up. It turned out really beautiful on its own with just a little bit of water or setting spray. Something like that will work nicely. So that's how it would look if you didn't use that dark deep brown. What I am going to do is on a brush, a wet brush again because I want to control it, I'm just going to grab the tiniest bit of that brown color, like a tiny bit, just to kind of deepen up this outer corner. And then I'm going to kind of ombre it into the other sparkly brown. And you can see that just kind of deepens it up just a slight bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit on a damp brush of that first kind of satiny beige color and do that on the inner corner. And see what that does is it really intensifies it by using that little bit of water. That's a nice trick with the satin colors. Makes them a little bit even more metallic. It pulls out the more metallic in them, which is really nice if you want to do an inner eye color. Hopefully I'm not going to start crying today. I mean, it is a nice quad. I don't know if it's that nice. I'm actually going to grab just a little bit of that satin color and run it along the bottom. Oh yeah, you can see right there what that does is it kind of sharpens that line up. And then I can take my regular kind of blending brush and blend that out a little bit so it's not as harsh, but I kind of like that line there. And you certainly could use your concealer too. And that's a much more daytime sort of friendly application of this, but I think it looks really beautiful. Okay, let's pull you back out. No, there we go. Much better. Getting so dark so fast. I gotta figure out something for back there because I just feel like it might not be bright enough, and I don't want to color correct. Anyway, as you see here, two dramatically different looks. Now the liner that they recommend with this palette, or I guess not recommend, but that they suggest with it, is the Cocoa liner, and it is a matte. Let me show it to you on the back of my hand here. And you can see it's just a deep dark chocolate brown. It's the same color as the brown that's found in the packet or in the quad. There are some others though that I thought might be appropriate or that you might want to just consider, or if you already have, you might like the look of. So this is Cinnamon, which is a warm kind of sparkly brown, a very popular color for her. Then we have the color Copper, which I think could also be beautiful if you want to really play into that warm look of the shimmer. We have a new entry that I think would actually look really beautiful that came out earlier this year, and this is the Terracotta. Means a little bit more warm, a little reddier. And then finally we have her eye brightener. which you could sometimes use if you just want to have a lighter look. And so I'm going to pull that in here, and you may not even be able to see that on here, but it's just kind of a lighter color, and it actually is pretty close to this color if you wanted to play that up. So let's just go ahead and stick with the cocoa today because that's what she suggested, but I think you can see there that there are 4 or 5 different shades in her line that would work really nicely with this. I'm going to grab the cocoa and just run it gently along the lower lash line. God, these liners are so nice if you've never tried them. My guess is if you are watching a video about Victoria Beckham Beauty, you have tried these because they are her signature product. This would be a case over here where you could use that eye brightener for the day or the terracotta one, and then switch to this if you wanted something even more dramatic. But you can see that that really darkened up and made it much more dramatic. Still not as dramatic as this look over here though. This one's pretty intense. Okay, so I think that's 2 really cool, interesting looks. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some Victoria Beckham mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just threw on 1 coat of the Victoria Beckham Vast Lash mascara. I do not have the brown shade that came out with this collection. She's come out with a brown, she's come out with kind of a burnt burgundy that came out with the last quad. But I have so many browns in my collection already that I highly recommend. A reasonably priced one is the one from Tower 28. I really like that one. The Lisa Eldridge Brown Burnt Umber Mascara is fantastic and would look great with these. And then probably my favorite brown mascara is the brown mascara from YSL, the Lash Clash. Any of those 3 would look really great with this. So I wanted to complete the look today with a lip combo, and I have the lipstick I want to use, but it's not from Victoria Beckham, but the liner I have is, so I won't feel too bad about that. She's got plenty of my money, so it's fine. I've grabbed the Victoria Beckham liner, and this is in the shade, what is this shade? 2. Apparently Victoria's favorite shade. It is a beautiful color. It's a little bit warmer than like Biscuit from Westman Atelier, but a little bit more muted than like Petal from Westman Atelier. And I'm going to do a pretty thick line on here because I'm using a matte lip today, which you'll see. Really pretty color. And then for the lip, I'm going to go in with Nude Necessarie, which is a matte from Louis Vuitton. This is so satisfying every time. And refilling the little refills is so satisfying, and it's more satisfying on your wallet. But this is Nude Necessarie from Louis Vuitton. Which makes a beautiful gradient with that liner. And it is a matte beige, but I think it goes beautifully with this look. So what do you think? I think we got 2 very different looks with 1 quad. I think this is a beautiful quad. I think it's going to sell really well for Victoria. I think it's a little bit more user-friendly than some of the other color stories. It's a little bit lighter. You can get a lighter look, which is not always achievable with some of the other color stories. But I think it's really beautiful, and I think it goes well with that liner, as well as some alternative liners from her collection. So I hope you've enjoyed today. It's a winning endorsement for me for Victoria Beckham, as always, pretty much. And if you like this, then please consider liking, subscribing, follow along, and shopping my links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps my little channel because Miss Victoria Beckham, she hasn't always been there for me. She hasn't said she always gonna be there for me, and she has definitely not put me on a PR list. Anyway, thanks so much for joining, and I hope you enjoyed today. Bye.